This is the best-selling UFO book ever published. It sold millions of copies, it got adapted into a movie with Christopher Walken, and it put a face, quite literally, on the modern alien abduction experience. That face is on the cover right now. If you know one image from UFO culture, it's probably this one. The book is Communion by Whitley Strieber, and whether you believe a word of it or not, you cannot seriously study this subject without reckoning with it. Let's start with what this book actually is, because it gets misrepresented a lot. Whitley Strieber was not a UFO researcher before 1987. He was a horror novelist, known for The Wolfen and The Hunger, both of which became films in their own right. Then, in December of 1985, he says something happened to him at his family's cabin in upstate New York. He describes a series of encounters with beings he examines with an almost forensic level of detail. Small figures, disproportionately large eyes, an affect that he insists was neither friendly nor hostile, just profoundly, unsettlingly other. What makes Communion different from a simple aliens took me story is how Strieber handles his own uncertainty. He is not writing a confident manifesto. He's a man wrestling, at length and in public, with what it means that this happened to him, if it happened the way he remembers it at all. Is this literal? Psychological? Something in between that we don't have good language for? He doesn't resolve that question for you, and honestly, that's the most credible thing about the book. Now here's where I have to be straight with you, because this channel doesn't do hype without scrutiny. Strieber's most detailed memories came out through hypnotic regression, and hypnotic regression has a real, well-documented problem. It's a memory recovery tool that can also plant or reshape memories, not just uncover them. That doesn't mean nothing happened to Whitley Strieber. It does mean Communion is a personal testimony, not corroborated evidence in the way a flight recorder or a radar track is evidence. Read it as a phenomenological account of an experience, not as a legal case file. But here's why it matters anyway, and this is the part people skip. This book didn't just sell copies. It changed who was willing to take the subject seriously. John Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist who'd already won a Pulitzer Prize, read accounts like Strieber's and decided the pattern was too consistent across too many strangers who'd never met each other to dismiss outright. Mack spent years afterward interviewing experiencers with the same rigor he'd apply to any other clinical population. You can draw a straight line from Communion's mainstream success to serious academic researchers finally being willing to touch this topic without ending their careers. That's a real, measurable cultural effect, whatever you conclude about the encounters themselves. There's a detail about how that cover image came to exist that most people don't know, and I think it tells you a lot about how seriously Strieber took his own account. He didn't just hand an artist a vague description. He sat session after session with a painter named Ted Seth Jacobs in Jacobs' small New York apartment and worked through the image almost like a police sketch artist builds a suspect's face, correcting the eyes, the proportions, the expression, piece by piece, until Strieber said the painting matched exactly what he remembered seeing. Whatever you think happened to Whitley Strieber, that cover isn't stock alien art. It's the single most reproduced attempt anyone has ever made to paint a specific, personally reported encounter, and it worked, in the sense that it became the default mental image of alien for an entire generation. And Strieber didn't stop at one book either. Communion was successful enough to get a 1989 film adaptation directed by Philippe Mora, with Christopher Walken playing Strieber himself, a performance critics singled out for capturing a fundamentally sane, intelligent man trying to hold on to his own sense of reality under impossible pressure. But more tellingly, Strieber kept writing about it for decades. Transformation in 1988, Breakthrough in 1995, The Secret School in 1996, revisiting strange memories from his own childhood. And as recently as 2011, Solving the Communion Enigma, still trying to work out what the original experience actually meant almost 25 years later. That's not the pattern of someone who cashed in on one bestseller and moved on. That's a man who kept returning to the same unresolved question for the rest of his writing life, whatever you make of that. So who should actually read this? If you're new to UFO research and you want a rigorous, skeptic-friendly starting point, this isn't it. Start with Leslie Kean or Ross Coulthard instead, and we've got a video on Coulthard's In Plain Sight you should check out. But if you're interested in the experiencer side of this phenomenon, the psychological and personal weight of a claimed contact experience, or you just want to understand why this particular gray alien with the big black eyes became the default image an entire culture reaches for when it pictures alien, this is required reading. Rated 5 stars on our site, and honestly, for cultural impact alone, it's hard to argue with that. If this breakdown helped, subscribe for more honest, no-hype UFO book reviews every week. Drop a like so more people find it, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. The full written review, with sourcing notes and where to buy the book or the audiobook, is linked in the description below. Thanks for watching.